In Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, Chancellor Palpatine is sitting next to the Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker as they attend a performance in the galaxy's opera house. Palpatine attempts to seduce Anakin to the dark side of the Force by telling him how Darth Plagueis the Wise was able to save others from death by using midichlorians to create life. He continued his story by saying that Darth Plagueis was killed by his apprentice in his sleep. Of course we know that this apprentice was Palpatine himself, but what if it was the other way around? What if Plagueis had killed Palpatine instead? How would this change Star Wars history? As you are about to see, a lot changes. We're going to say that when Palpatine attempts to convince Queen Amidala to move for a vote of no confidence, that he fails to convince her, and Chancellor Valorum remains in place as Supreme Chancellor. Plagueis, who is livid at Palpatine's failure to become Supreme Chancellor, kills him in secret. There would be a widespread investigation as to the death of Palpatine, but Plagueis would be able to easily cover his tracks, being one of the most intelligent Sith Lords to have ever lived. The events at the end of The Phantom Menace remain the same, with Qui-Gon falling at the hands of Maul, Maul being chopped in half by Obi-Wan, and Dooku defecting to the Sith, but this time to Plagueis. Whereas Palpatine was always watching over Anakin, Plagueis in fact despised Anakin, seeing him as a potential threat to the resurgence of the Sith. As a result, he would try and lure Anakin from the protection of the Jedi and Obi-Wan, but would be unsuccessful for now. As we move forwards to the event in the Attack of the Clones, not a lot changes, as Dooku is posing as leader of the CIS, with Plagueis pulling the strings behind the scenes, maintaining his role in the intergalactic banking clan. Obi-Wan will find the cloning facility in Kamino, but find it operating slower than in canon, as Valorum was still Supreme Chancellor, thus Plagueis needed the time for the betrayal of the Jedi to work, using their own commitment for the Republic against them. The events on Geonosis are similar, except that Dooku is less concerned about victory, rather evaluating the skills of Anakin Skywalker and reporting them back to his master, knowing he was the key to the potential downfall of the Sith. Whereas Palpatine was obsessed with having sole control of the galaxy, Plagueis was more level-headed, recognizing that it would be difficult to control all parts of the galaxy by himself. This means that Plagueis is more comfortable with Dooku training Force users, such as Asajj Ventress and Savage Opress, to do his bidding. However, Plagueis, not being as masterful in his manipulation skills as Palpatine, fails to become Supreme Chancellor, despite numerous attempts to ascend to power. Nevertheless, he knows that it would be easy to exploit the weaknesses of Chancellor Valorum. Another small change is the duel on Mandalore between Sidious and Maul and Savage. Plagueis is still fuming at Maul's failure to kill Obi-Wan and Naboo, and given he has no use for him, eliminates Maul. Savage, on the other hand, is not present, as Dooku and Plagueis still have a use for him. One might argue that Maul would not have dared to face Plagueis alone, but given Maul had been a student of Sidious, he would not have known too much about Plagueis' abilities, as Plagueis preferred to win his immense Force abilities, dismissing lightsaber combat as a Jedi art. As we move forwards to the events in Revenge of the Sith, Grievous does not capture the Chancellor, as the use for this in the original timeline was for Palpatine to test Anakin's powers against Dooku's. What does happen, however, is Grievous facing off against Anakin and Obi-Wan aboard the Invisible Hand. The duo end up defeating Grievous, with the close confines of the ship not suiting the Kaleesh cyborg. The defeat of Grievous, however, is what Plagueis had been expecting, as he used the chaos in the Battle of Coruscant to recalibrate the clone army. This means that he is not as concerned about having control of the Senate. He would find it relatively easy to take power, having established himself as a capable and reliable representative of the banking clan. For Plagueis, everything was proceeding as he had foreseen. With his research to manipulate midichlorians about to be complete, the Jedi would fall. That is it for part 1 of What If Plagueis Killed Palpatine. If you would like to see a part 2, please like this video and subscribe for more what ifs. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd like to see next. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.
The tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
No.
I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you. It's a Sith legend. Darth Plagueis was a dark lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midi-chlorians to create life.